Haas's role in Formula One is a confusing one. Are they an American team? Well, they might have an American owner, but they don't really make a fuss about it, and their cars are built in Italy anyway, so it's not really American. Are they trying to work themselves towards the front of the grid? Again, not really. They're pretty honest about the fact that they don't have enough money to do it, and they haven't really got the aspirations to be there either. Are they just run as a business then? Well, kind of, but if you were Gene Haas, instead of making small amounts of profit every year, wouldn't you just sell the team for the best part of $1 billion and go and buy an island in the Caribbean or something? However, that's starting to change. And today, I'm going to tell you why Haas, with the help of a few new allies, are on the brink of becoming a serious player in Formula One. I'm George, you're watching F1 Reverse, and this is Don't At Me, the show where I try to justify one of my ridiculous hot takes. Who the fuck writes a book in the exact same way they speak in a reality TV show? And why is the word fuck in every second sentence? I love Gunther Steiner as much as the next guy, but you cannot tell me that this book wasn't written by a ghostwriter who just, read post-it notes that they found in Gunther's motorhome and made it into a diary. Anyway, he's gone now, so I'll deal with that later. Nico Hülkenberg's back-to-back 6th place finishes at Silverstone and the Red Bull Ring are Haas's best back-to-back results since 2018. Back then, they managed a 6th place finish in France, and then a 4th and 5th place finish in Austria. That 2018 Austrian Grand Prix was actually the team's best ever result, and if you go back and watch the official F1 highlights, which I did, they actually only get one mention, and it's when Sebastian Vettel is overtaking Romain Grosjean. And perhaps that perfectly sums up the Haas F1 team. Their biggest point haul in 9 seasons in Formula One, and they didn't even make it into the highlights. It came in the most unimpressive way as well, with both Mercedes cars and Daniel Ricciardo retiring due to mechanical issues. Look, I don't feel good about saying it, but competitively at least, Haas have been a footnote for their entire existence in Formula One. But I'm not here to take a dump on the Haas F1 team. Apart from the Mick Schumacher and Nikita Mazepin years, I have a lot of respect for what they've done. Resurrecting Nico Hülkenberg's career is something we should all be thankful of as well. Haas runs on a shoestring budget. Prior to the introduction of the budget cap, they were F1's lowest spender with a yearly outgoing of roughly $80 million. At that time, Mercedes was spending bordering on $500 million every year. Of course, I can't imagine how they managed to win 8 constructors' titles while spending that much money. What Gene Haas and Gunther Steiner managed to do with that team, to keep them running when they had almost no money and so many other teams failed, is honestly just incredible. Remember, Formula One wasn't always the happy and prosperous place that it is at the moment where everyone gets to turn a profit. For the first 2 decades of this millennia, it was an absolute bloodbath for F1 teams. The casualties included HRT, Virgin, Lotus, Manor, and Super Aguri. Jaguar would have folded if Red Bull hadn't bought them just for the lols as far as anyone can work out. There was Toyota as well, but more on them later. Haas survived all of that, and deserve a huge amount of respect for it. In their 3rd season, they actually looked like they were making progress up the F1 ladder as well. That was 2018, where they got their best ever finish with Romain Grosjean and Kevin Magnussen behind the wheel of their cars. They became a regular points finisher. They never really looked like a podium threat, but they were there and they were getting attention and, good for them. It was a time where they were kind of playing the same role that Aston Martin do at the moment. But it only really lasted for 1 season. That 2018 performance proved to be a complete blip. The team's declining performance and non-existing budget left Gene and Gunther spiraling into a bottomless pit of despair. Eventually, they would find the bottom and find themselves in hell, where they had to make a deal with the devil. They were offered a huge pile of money, but they had to take with them Mick Schumacher and Nikita Mazepin. It was an appallingly bad deal, but one that proved worthwhile in the end. Haas may have been an embarrassment to the grid for 2 years, and unfortunately gave Ralf Schumacher far too much ammo to make comments at that people have to listen to. But they did survive to race another day. They lived on as a backmarker with little to no motivation to ever become more than that. Until now. 2024 is Haas's year. Well, by Haas's standards anyway, which admittedly are pretty low at this point. 6 seasons on from that completely forgettable 4th and 5th place finish in Austria, Haas recorded their joint best results since then, finishing 6th and 8th in Austria. Their best result of the season was once again missed by the official highlights, and was again caused by retirements ahead of them, but last time out at Silverstone they looked seriously impressive. Nico Hülkenberg has been an absolute qualifying beast for Haas since his return to Formula 1, but his 6th place start at the British Grand Prix, ahead of both Ferraris, was particularly impressive. What happened to that Ferrari title challenge, by the way? Anyway, he converted that 6th place start to a 6th place finish, and all of a sudden, they look like the best of the rest, but this has been coming, you might just have missed it. Gunther Steiner is gone, and while his personality on the grid might be missed, his impact on Haas's performance is definitely not. Perhaps Daniel Ricciardo could take some inspiration from him. Io Komatsu runs things at Haas now, and instead of Steiner's let's just vibe it out management style, Komatsu is all about data-driven goodness, and that is what F1 prides itself on nowadays. The man has a PhD in vehicle dynamics and control, whatever that means. Having read the summary of his PhD thesis, I understand why he might be a good engineer, because I didn't understand a single word of what I read. As an F1 team principal, I'll take a doctor of vehicle dynamics over an outspoken Italian-American people person any day of the week. Things have clearly changed at Haas. The game plan of the team isn't to assess if they look like rock stars or wankers anymore, it's to look at performance and find improvements. Nico Hülkenberg said shortly after Komatsu's appointment that he's a guy who can't be messed with. The engineers can't hide things from him because he understands what's going on, something that Gunther never really did by the sounds of things. He changed around the engineering department, and now Haas are reaping the rewards. They might not have started the season with the best car on the grid, or even the 9th best car on the grid, but with their Silverstone upgrades, which basically constituted a brand new car, Nico Hülkenberg reckons they're in the battle for 5th fastest now. At the moment, they are still 7th in the Constructors' Championship, and 2 good results doesn't prove anything. But over the last 6 races, Nico Hülkenberg has outscored Perez and both of the Aston Martin drivers, and finished 11th 3 times on top of that. If Kevin Magnussen finally realises that he doesn't have a drive for next season and pulls his finger out of his ass, then they could very easily find themselves 5th place in the Constructors' Championship. And if Ferrari can't stop themselves from moving backwards, then Lord help them. Remember the memes of Pope Vasseur that did the rounds after they signed Hamilton and looked like championship challengers? Well, it'll be the Ferrari clown wall all over again if things don't turn around. Komatsu changing the structure in the technical department has all of a sudden made those upgrades look incredible, and considering how terrible Aston Martin, VCarb, Sauber, Williams, Red Bull and Ferrari have been at upgrading their cars this season, that's no easy task. Well played, you Japanese beauty. Obviously, you're now wondering to yourself, you said they're becoming a serious player, but you also said that 2 good results mean nothing, so surely there's more to it than this. To which I say, you're absolutely correct. Enter the largest car manufacturer in the world, Toyota. Last year, they sold over 10 million cars, the only company in the world to do so. They don't just make cars as well, they're actually a pretty incredible motorsport team as well. They're currently known as Toyota Gazoo Racing, and they should have won the Le Mans 24 Hours earlier this year. Not that I'm biased. They have won the last 3 World Rally Championship Constructors titles, the last 5 World Rally Drivers titles, and the last 5 World Endurance titles, Drivers and Constructors. And also, try and find me a livery that looks better than the Toyota Corolla Castrol painted rally cars as well. I dare you. Actually, I'll go as far as saying that if you want to post your thoughts in the comments, I will personally reply and prove why you're wrong. Admittedly, their 8-year-long F1 career was far less impressive and was abruptly ended by the 2009 financial crisis, and they had the unfortunate displeasure of playing host to Ralf Schumacher as a driver during that time. But everyone's been banging on about how Audi are going to turn Sauber into this championship challenging team and be the next Mercedes, and they've never even had an F1 team, so surely Toyota can do the same thing. Unlike Audi though, they aren't going to be buying a backmarker team and attempting to turn them around. No, Toyota have got their sights set far higher than the team that currently play host to the driver sat 21st in a 20-car championship. They're going to be sponsoring the soon-to-be king of the midfield and helping them build their cars. If rumours are to be believed, then Toyota could be coming on board as a big sponsor for the Haas team from next season, and potentially could be helping them build their cars from 2026 onwards. While there's nothing official yet from either side, images of the Toyota Gazoo racing manager and his family inside the Haas garage at Silverstone wearing Haas merch is all the confirmation I need to make some wild claims about why Haas are going to be world champions by 2030. Toyota has a lot to offer as well, apart from some technical know-how, of course. They have a metric crap ton of money. In terms of value as a company, their market cap is $276 billion. Only Tesla as a car manufacturer is valued higher, and considering they're essentially a meme who recall more cars than they make, I'm going to completely disregard them. Toyota also have a very nice F1 facility in Cologne, Germany, which they never dismantled despite not having an F1 team since 2009. Your guess is as good as mine. They've just been renting it out to whoever wants it since then. The site is so good that until very recently, McLaren thought it was worthwhile sending parts from their base in the UK all the way to Cologne to do their testing, instead of just using a UK-based wind tunnel. The Haas team is also free real estate for a serious automotive sponsor. Just look at the current crop of sponsors they have on the car. It's not like there's going to be any clash or overlap between Chipotle and Toyota, is there? What the sponsorship will involve is a little more complex though. MoneyGram are currently paying Haas $20 million a year to be their title sponsor, and that deal's meant to go on until the end of 2027. Of course, if Toyota does want to be a title sponsor, then there might be a way out of it. Who knows? What I do know is that Toyota Gazoo Racing is a far more impressive F1 team name than MoneyGram Haas F1 team. The only thing that is obviously stopping this deal from happening is Ferrari. Haas are a Ferrari customer, and they work extremely closely with the Ferrari team as well. They buy their parts, and they basically work on the same trading estate, or whatever the Italian equivalent is of a concrete car park with a burger van in the corner. If Ferrari decided to kick up a fuss, then that could be an issue for Haas. Without Gunther there to wine and dine the Ferrari team to keep them happy, it might be a lot harder to get a deal done, but anything is possible if there's enough money involved, and again, Toyota have a lot of money. Okay, jokes aside, this could be huge for Haas. This season, they've become a team that takes themselves seriously, and a partnership with Toyota would be a massive step towards being a properly competitive team. And not just permanent midfield competitive like Alpine, I mean actually competitive. Just you wait and see.